So, hello friends. So, in this session, let us have some discussion on numerical problems of our model number 2. So, model number 2, first question. Design a column section which carries an axial load of 410 kilonewtons. The column is of 4.2 meters long and restrained against translation and free against rotation. The yield stress of the steel is used as 250 MPa. So first let us write the first step, that is step number 1, given data. So what is given here? Load is given. Load P is equal to 410 into 10 power 3 newtons. Next, length of the column is given as 4.2 meters or 4200 mm. Next, yield stress of the material is given, that is 250 MPa or Newton per mm square. And also condition is given. What is that condition? Restrained is translation at one end, at other end rotation is free. Rotation is free. So what is the first step? Step number 1, given data. So now let us write step number 2. That is factor load. So what's the formula for factor load? Simply factor load is nothing but 1.5 is multiplied with given design load. So then it becomes 1.5 into 410 into 10 power 3 newtons. So our answer will be approximately 615 into 10 power 3 newtons or 615 kilonewtons. So this is our step number 2. So the given load is converted into factor load. That is our step number 2. Now step number 3. Step number 3. Required area. Required area of the section. So what's the formula for that? Area is equal to factor load is multiplied with some assumption of our compressive stress. So in this case, we're going to assume compressive stress for single angle section, it must be in between 100 to 135 Newton per mm square. We have discussed about this assumption in our previous class. So 615 is multiplied with 10 power 3. So we have to convert kilonewtons into newtons, is multiplied with, so here in this question I'm going to assume as 100. So let us assume FCD as 100 Newton per mm square. You have to assume this value. So our area becomes 6150 mm square. So for this section we have to select one suitable I section. That is, now I'm going to take ISHB. So step 4, selection of suitable I section. So based upon what parameter you're going to select that I section? Based upon area, by using which book? Steel table book. By using steel table book. So based upon what parameter? That is area. Area is equal to 6150 mm square. So for this concern section, I'm going to select ISHB, Indian Standard Heavy Beam. So by using steel table book, I'm going to assume ISHB 250 mm at the rate 500 Newton per meter. So for this section, ISHB 250 mm at the rate 500 Nm per meter, the area will be 6150. So based upon this area, I have selected this suitable I section, that is ISHB, from our steel table book. So step number 5. Step number 5. Properties or basic parameters. Properties of the I section. Properties of I section. So we have to write all the basic parameters of the section. So area of the section, that is 6150 mm square. Next, depth of the section, that is 250 mm. Width of the flange, that is 250 mm. Thickness of the flange as 9.7 mm. And you have to write even radius of gyration, RZZ, that is 109.1 mm. Radius of gyration in YY direction, that is 54.9 mm. So in solving these questions, we need to consider only one radius of gyration. So whichever is minimum among these two, that we are going to take as our radius of gyration in minimum. So radius of gyration minimum is equal to, among 109.1, 54.9, which is minimum. So 54.9 mm is minimum. So in solving this type of questions, model number 2, we have to take minimum radius of gyration. So we have to assume minimum radius of gyration. After writing all the basic parameters, we have to sketch the diagram further. Diagram is very important. Sketch is very important. So this is our I section. So what is the width of the flange? What is the width of the flange? It is 250 mm. Depth of the flange, so depth of the beam, that is 250 mm. Thickness of the flange, 9.7 mm, etc. So this is our step number 5. Now step number 6. Effective length. Effective length. Effective length. So at one end, our translation is restrained. Translation is restrained. At other end, rotation is free. So this is the condition given in the question. Rotation is free. By using which table we have to find the effective length formula? Table number 10. Table number 10. So what is the formula for effective length? Effective length is equal to some constant is multiplied with given length. So based upon this, we have to refer that table, so and so table. So for that, we have to refer table number 11, effective length of the prismatic compression members. So in the boundary condition, at one end translation is given, at other end rotation is also given. So for that, for translation and rotation, translation is restrained and rotation translation is restrained and rotation is free. So then you have to multiply 1 for the given length. You have to multiply 1 for the given length. So what is the formula for effective length now? Effective length is equal to 1 into given length. Simply our effective length becomes, L effective length is nothing but 4200 is multiplied with 1. 1 is a given condition, so 4200 mm is our effective length. So L effective length is equal to 4200 mm. Now step number 7. Classification of the section. Step number 7. Classification of section. So based upon what parameters are going to classify this section? Based upon formulas given in table number 10. So based upon depth by width ratio, based upon depth by width ratio. So depth is given as 250 and even width is also given as 250. 250 gets cancelled and we're going to get 1. So which is less than 1.2. So if it is less than 1.2, it comes under which class according to our given table? So for that we have to refer table number 10. If it is h by bf is less than 1.2, then it becomes class B. Then it becomes class B. So immediately you have to go further for thickness is less than or equal to 40. Let's check. Then it becomes which class? So as depth by width ratio is less than 1.2, so it becomes class B. Now we have to find the thickness, whether the given thickness is less than 100 mm or not. For this we have to refer this column. As width by depth ratio is less than 1.2 in ZZ axis, it is class B. Now let us see thickness of the flange is less than 100 mm or not. If it is satisfied, then it becomes buckling class C. Then it becomes buckling class C. So according to table number 10, thickness of the flange must be less than or equal to 100 mm, which means thickness of the flange is equal to, so what is the thickness of the flange given in the question? Is 9.7. So 9.7 is less than 100 mm. So it is satisfied for buckling class C, whereas depth of width ratio comes under class B. So our section is classified into two classes. One is class A and another one, sorry, class B, and another one is class C. So now step number 8. Step number 8. So design compressive stress. Design compressive stress. Design compressive stress. So we can take any of this class. We can take in design problems in model number, we can either take class B or class C. Anything we can take for solving this design compressive stress. So now I'm going to take as class C. Let us assume as section as class C. If it is class C, so which table you have to refer? Table number 9C. Table number 9C. So before that we forgot to solve the slenderness ratio. Slenderness ratio R, that is effective length divided by R minimum, which means 4200 divided by minimum radius of Ganition, that is 54.9, which means the value will be 76.50, which means it lies between 70 and 80. Our slenderness ratio lies between 70 and 80. So based upon what parameters we are going to find design compressive stress? By using slenderness ratio and given yield stress. By referring in table number 9C, we are going to solve for design compressive stress. Now let us find the value of that. So as a value we got, that is 76.50 lies between 70 and 80. You have to refer which table? Table number 9C. Let us refer table number 9C. So what is the value of yield stress given in the question? Based upon what is the value of yield stress given in the question? Yield stress is 250 Newton per mm square. 250 Newton per mm square. So this is our class D and this is our class C. So as our value lies between 70 and 80 and our yield stress value is how much? And what is the value of our yield stress? What is the value of our yield stress? Our yield stress value is 250. So we have to refer in this column. So for 250, for 70, for 250, what is the value of FCD? It is 152. Again, for 80, for 250 yield stress, what is the value of FCD? That is 136. That is 136. So by using this table, you have to write these values. So 152 Newton per mm square and also 130 Newton per mm square. So our value lies in between 152 and 130. by using which method? Interpolation method. So FCD is equal to 152 minus 130 divided by these values. Lower limit, that is 80 minus 70 is multiplied with 6.50 minus 70. If we're going to solve this, we're going to get FCD as, we're going to get 141.60 Newton per mm square. So this is our this is our design compressive stress. So what is our last step? Step number 9. Design compressive strength. So what is the formula for that? PD is equal to FCD into area of the section. FCD into area of the section. So what is our area? FCD, that is 141.60 into area of the section. So what is the area? 6150. We're going to multiply this. We're going to get answer as 91980 newtons or 919.80 kilonewtons. So this is our design compressive strength. This is our design compressive strength.